name is Daryl. I'm the COO at Pylon AI. Today, I will be speaking to you a little bit more about how we leverage AI in the construction sector. Before that, let me just find a way to toggle the slide. Does it work? Is this the one? Okay, it works. All right, so just give you a little bit of a background. I look young. Some people say that I just graduated from NS. Seems like I'm a 20-year-old guy. But in fact, I've been in the built environment for quite some time now. I started my career journey in a developer construction firm at Soil Build Group Holdings. There, I was actually in charge of the integrated construction and prefabrication hub. So I'm very familiar with the methodologies of DFMA. Using robotic means to drive efficiency to produce your modular components. I was also a very strong advocate for using advanced connection systems and advanced materials for modular construction. Then after a few years, I decided that I've got to look at things from a macro point of view. So I moved on to policy work at M&D. At M&D, I was heavily involved in doing policy for the built environment sector, from building control to some of the more advanced transformational efforts that were undertaken by BCA. Then I moved back into the private sector, and right now I'm at Pylon AI. It is a young team, a young company, but we are really looking at this for the long haul. Very exciting times ahead, and that's one of the reasons why I'm here to share some of, or a little bit insights into what Pylon AI actually do. Right? I've also been an adjunct lecturer at BCA for quite some time, but ever since I went to M&D, I stopped teaching. Conflict of interest. I also co-founded a company, Circrete, that is actually an NUS incubated startup dealing with recycled materials. So long story short, basically I've seen the ups and downs of the construction sector ever since I graduated. I understand the challenges, and I have seen all the different kind of solutions that we have tried and tested. Some were successful, some not quite so. So to begin and to just keep all of us awake, I'll start off with a video of Pylon AI, so just sit back and relax.
The fastest way to build is by leveraging technology. With the construction industry's increasing adoption of digital technologies, information is growing exponentially. However, making sense of all of these are hindered by factors such as delayed updates and data being in multiple siloed sources. Identifying the important data is therefore key to making projects successful, saving cost and increasing efficiency. Imagine a solution that can consolidate data, perform analysis, and provide you with construction-centric alerts at your fingertips. With Pylon.ai, all of these are possible. We are here to transform the construction industry. Pylon AI offers holistic view and ease of use. Through our platform, you get the complete picture of your project across the vital areas of manpower, machinery, and materials. We generate accurate diagnosis and powerful insights that are relevant for all parties, from management to operational level. No more time wasted manually gathering data. Our platform integrates all of your data sources, such as Microsoft Excel, workflow application, and IoT solutions. Process those information, perform analysis, and provide you progress updates in real time. This provides a clear overview of your project's progress that enables you to make informed critical decisions while ensuring all parties are updated and aligned every step of the way. Pylon.ai provides real-time updates for your construction project. Decision makers need updated data to help them make the right choice. Using IoT technology in Pylon's dashboard, we are able to deliver improved monitoring and control at your fingertips by providing real-time data of your site activities, such as manpower movements, productivity, availability of materials, and machinery usage. Furthermore, our insights allow you to plan according to the current situation, spot potential problems, or locate resources across all your sites. Pylon.ai transforms one-dimensional data into construction-centric insights. Raw information like diesel consumption, electricity usage, water usage, and construction waste are more than just utility costs. Through our analysis, we present them in a new light that enables you to control budget, help facilitate the Green Mark certification process, and calculate carbon footprint to achieve your sustainability goals. Leveraging the growth of BEAM for DFMA, we are able to present 3D BEAM models that track end-to-end progress from drawings and approvals to production and finally delivery and installation. This gives you the ability to identify potential gaps, reduce coordination efforts, and improve efficiency. Data is key for our company. We want to make it relevant to you by providing decisions, alerts, tracking, actions. Let us help you make sense of your data. Visit us and get started today.
All right. Hello. Doesn't work. Does the mic work? Hello. All right. I prefer to use the mic. So I hope you enjoyed that video. It gives you a little bit of insight into what Pylon AI does. It might be a little bit overwhelming, so I'll try to simplify it a little in the upcoming slides. But I thought to begin with, I'll share with you a little bit about Pylon AI DNA. The vision is very simple. We just want to be the world-leading project intelligence hub, offering a single source of truth for the built environment. Reason being, that's actually what we need today, really. Any solutions that you have out there that are being marketed, that are being sold for commercial reasons, it must serve a purpose, right? And today, if you speak to builders, stakeholders, consultants, they will just tell you that basically they don't have that single source of truth, while maybe they try to assume they have, but I'm pretty sure they don't. The mission is really to simplify digitalization and empower everyone to make smarter decisions. A lot of times, I've seen solutions and tools that are just very difficult to adopt. And more often, even if it's adopted, it's due to compliance, regulatory requirements, and it becomes a white elephant after several years, or even months sometimes. So we don't want to do that. We just want to deliver something that is practical, that solves the problem at the roots. Now, I think before I go on into more details about what Pylon AI does and today's topic, I thought it's good to have a flashback of how far we have come as an industry, from bricks to blocks to bytes. Our journey has been a long one, and it's not that we have not done anything throughout the years. We have, although in terms of progression-wise compared to other industry, we are probably lagging behind. That's the complete honest truth, right? So this is just a map that I've panned out to just illustrate how far we have come over the years in terms of how we have transformed the way we build. And this is not even talking about data-driven solutions or robotics. This is just basically changing the way we build, right? Olden days, we used bricks, we changed to precast, and then after that, for precast, we tried to use more modular construction. You use MEP, so on and so forth. So we have done quite a number of steps throughout the years. Where I came into the industry, it was somewhere in 2018, and that's the reason why the ICPH was my very first baby project, and I could see for myself on the ground how automation was used. To be more accurate, semi-automation. So why Pylon AI exists today, right? It's really because of the construction chaos that we have. I might sound a little bit harsh, but that's the reality that we have today, right? The problems never take a day off. Every single day, even as I'm speaking today, you will face this couple of problems. Number one, project delays and scheduling issues. Number two, labor management and workforce productivity, safety and hazard management, cost overruns and budgeting issues, big one. Supply chain and logistics management, I think that was very prevalent when COVID hit and all the construction project had to come to a standstill. And that was it was timely for us to then reflect how much of automation and robotics could really assist us at that point of time, given the level of investments. And of course, I think today, there are more and more concerns on environmental carbon footprint, embodied carbon. I think today you will see some companies that are putting out their solutions in order to measure your scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions. So that's something that is also at the top of our agenda, right? So with all these problems here, then we ask ourselves, how AI could help us, right? And I'll be very frank with you today, is that I don't think AI at this point in time, unless it's very targeted, could help us address those things, right? Now, so what is actually AI? I'm not trying to claim to be an AI expert here. My team, I probably could assemble a team that is an expert in AI, in large language model, to help us develop that platform. But I think it's very important for us to start dissecting or demystifying some of these terms, right? The buzzword today, you go around, you will see people, either they claim to be an AI expert. Sometimes I wonder why. When we couldn't even demystify the problems in construction, and then suddenly we jump into AI. Not that it is the wrong approach, but I think if we are just riding on the hype without fully understanding what it really means, we are in for trouble. Because we had that problem when we were trying to transit to BIM, when we were trying to transit into DFMA robotics, without fully understanding what are the kind of tools and technologies that are really targeted for the local context. So I think we need to get this right. So you have terms like artificial intelligence, AI, very familiar, right? So some examples are your virtual assistants, chess engines like your IBM, chess, what was that name? Deep Blue, I think. Your autonomous vehicles like Tesla, where they use sensors, where they use AI to actually extract data from the sensors to make decisions for the drivers. Then comes machine learning. So things like your email spam filters, that is part of machine learning. You don't have to look too far from that. Deep learning, image recognition, speech recognition, and data science, things that you do in the business and the healthcare sector to just basically do predictive analytics. But the question that I think we should all ponder and think through together, what is the relationship between these terms? And what is the synergy between these terms as well? Like I said, I'm not trying to claim to be an AI expert, but I think let's untangle the alphabet soup. Now, this is a very simplified relationship or illustration of how the synergy works between these terms, right? So AI is the overarching goal. We all strive for that, right? Because it will enable the technology to make decisions that are human-like. Now, you have your machine learning, which is a form of AI's learning method. Then you have your deep learning, which is a specialized ML for complex problems, and thus the term deep, right? And you have your data science, which is your data processing for AI and ML. But wait a minute. Before we even talk about AI, I think today in the construction industry, we are struggling with what we call the data science part. Where are your data? How are we extracting those data? We don't, right? And in my next slide, these numbers don't come from me. This is actually a research. 1.8 trillion, that is the estimated annual cost of bad data to the global construction industry. And like it or not, almost 96% of all data goes unused in engineering and construction. So without that 96% of data, how on earth are we going to ever develop an AI model that can solve our problem that I described earlier on? It's impossible. So what's now and what's next? This is a very simplified schematic of what I think where we are at in terms of the technology that we have today, the degree of maturity, and the influence on the business, right? Those in greens are what you see in today's market, right? That's relevant to the built environment. So you have things like your CD environment, you have companies out there selling that. Computational BIM, RFID is a little bit some time back, but it's still being used today. Drones, virtual reality. Then you have at the more extreme side things like 3D printing, gesture control, blockchain, wearables. Now, to be very frank, some of these will not even be applicable for the construction industry if we have to be very honest with ourselves, right? Not that I am not a strong advocate for robotics, but I think it has to be targeted. I give a simple example. I recently moved into my BTO flat. This was sometime last year. The paint was spray painted. It was very obvious. So what happened was that it was all uneven. Eventually, HDB had to call in 5 workers to come in and redo the paint. So in terms of efficiency, right, we use robots to say that it completes the project in X amount of time. But the downstream effect is that you still have to call in the same number of workers to do the rectification. So is that real efficiency, right? To me, it's not, right? Although it is in the right direction to try and make things more efficient, but if you still have to do those rectification using workers again, I don't think that is efficiency. You see those things that are being highlighted, Internet of Things, big data analytics, data integration, artificial intelligence. The reason why I highlight those are things that are very keen, or those are things that are our focus at Pylon AI. So, for the next normal in construction, which is the theme of this event, I thought it's timely to then give a snippet into Pylon AI Central Intelligence Hub. Now, what does this actually mean? Graphically, it looks great, but what does this really entail? For a start, we mentioned a lot that a lot of the data goes unused, we don't have those data. So at Pylon AI, we make it a conscious effort to extract data from key variables in the construction sector. So there are a few components. One of them, obviously, is your materials. Whether is it precast, whether is it your structural steel, these are all materials that are on the day-to-day basis being used in a manufacturing plant or in a construction site. A lot of times, it goes to waste. And worse, you can't account for those wastage. You don't know where they go to. And at construction site itself, you will use heavy machineries, whether is it your excavators, your tower cranes, so on and so forth. Then you will have to measure in terms of its productivity and efficiency. Worker movement is something else that is at the top of our minds because, like it or not, in today's context, we still need workers on the ground, boots on the ground to complete our construction projects. Again, COVID was a very good example where when it hits, when the borders shut, none of the construction project could carry on. So I would say you've got to track the workers to trace the progress. And that is one of the variables that we are trying to track, and we are tracking it in real time. And of course, we can integrate that with 3D model for just-in-time delivery. So at Pylon AI, we adopt this philosophy or methodology. We call it the +65. It's so apt that it's also our country code. So where does the 6 come from, right? So on your left, you will see that these are the sources of data that we could extract. So first of all, you have IoT devices, which we are actually using at real-time locations at construction sites. Through IoT devices, you can extract a lot of meaningful data. Now, IoT is not new, but in the construction sector, it is pretty early, and the adoption is pretty low. So what can you extract out of IoT? Simple things like your geo-positioning, things like your exertion rate, temperatures, just to name a few. Then you have existing apps, things like your Excel, things like your Words, so on and so forth. And you have even more traditional data sources. On your right-hand side, those are the key variables that you want to plug into these sources of data. These are manpower, materials, and machinery. Now, when you plug these two together, what do you actually aim to get out of it? So that's the 5 in the inner circle, which is quality, expense, safety, timely progress, and sustainability. Things that would help you address the earlier problems that I highlighted a couple of slides ago. So I'll just jump straight to some of our offerings. I can't cover all today, but I'll cover some that are actually being used by some of our clients. So one of them is actually our advanced geofencing technology. It provides you real-time location of your workers. But before we do that, we actually geofence the area. And there are many things that we can do with geofencing. Our dashboards allow you to provide real-time location mapping of the workers. It acts also as a digital visitor management system to replace your current biometric authentication system. Now, with geofencing, you could also dovetail into safety monitoring, because you are now able to then geofence the area to prevent or to detect unauthorized workers entering restricted or dangerous areas. Previously, you can't do this, either you through visuals. I think today some companies are using visual analytics, but the thing is that there's only so much that you can do with those technologies, right? In our case, the moment you geofence an area and those are restricted, the moment someone enters into those zones, it will trigger a red flag and alert, and someone could actually go down and then stop it immediately. This is something that our clients like a lot, improved communications and coordination. It gives you project insight and centralized reporting. When it comes to manpower, I think today a lot of people are still using the conventional Excel method. You need to deploy supervisors to go down to the ground and physically do inspections, count how many workers, get in the report, submit the report, and at times submit it to regulators. Right now, they don't have to do that. Everything is seamless. So even to the authorities, all they have to do is just access the uneditable data to verify the workers' report. In construction, like it or not, we also have to deal with a lot of subcontractors, and a lot of times the inefficiency of subcontractors are actually causing project delays. Now, how do we then remedy this, right? It's really to track the workers that are being deployed by the subcontractors, making sure that they are not just physical on site, but they are actually doing actual work. And that's the power of an IoT, because it doesn't just detect the geo-positioning, it actually detects exertion rates as well. The moment a worker stops moving, stops working at a designated zones, the system will be able to pick that up and it will be reflected onto the dashboard. So at the end of the day, you could do a summary, you could do a summarized report, and you could identify which particular worker are not efficient, which particular zone needs to be enhanced. So the next day itself, you could quickly ramp things up. Workforce productivity, I don't have to say much about this. I think the industry as a whole is big on this, trying to make sure that we are moving in the right direction, trying to enhance productivity on-site and off-site. And on top of manpower tracking, I will touch on a little bit about precast tracking as well. I think it's no secret that we are huge on adopting precast technology. But the reality today is that a lot of these precast components are not manufactured in Singapore. They are manufactured overseas. And when that happens, you will have logistical constraints. You will have quality issues as well. Recently, I met a CEO, a good friend of mine, who is actually a CEO of a precast company. He told me this. His workers validated that the precast was produced, was sent to site, it was signed by someone. The builder themselves also acknowledged that they had signed it, they had received it. But when they want to install it, the precast is just missing. So, and at the end of it, what's the resolution? They just have to recast it. And you can imagine if this is happening on a day-to-day basis, you multiply that by 31 days, multiply that by 3 years, the amount of money that is being thrown into wherever that is huge, right? So this is just a very simplified context of the current situation. A lot of precasts are in Malaysia. It could come from anywhere else. I'm just using that for illustration. It's at a production yard being delivered to Singapore at a construction site. Sometimes it goes into a temporary storage facility first before going to the construction site. And during these transit, things can happen if you don't track them. And ultimately, to a builder, what you want is that you just want to know whether that has been fabricated, whether that has been delivered, and whether that has been installed, because time is money, and if the things are not being produced in time, it will result in project delays. Very straightforward. But even till today, nobody actually looked into it. I don't know why, and that's the reason why we are committed to solving that problem. So these are just some of the things that our dashboard does. Very simple. You upload the design, because we understand that today, while we are huge on BIM, the reality is that a lot of the construction projects may not be using BIM to model their modular components. Some are actually using AutoCAD in 2D. So like it or not everything is in BIM. I love BIM, but the thing is that we have taken a number of years to adopt it, and I think it will still continue to be that way until we change the way we produced it. So we have developed a system that you could either upload your AutoCAD drawings or you could upload your BIM. If you upload your BIM, the file is much huge, so that will take up a little bit more capacity. It will slow down the system a little, but it works. But we are not into the business of wanting to actually, change the design or to account for the design changes. I will try to rush a little because Oliver just gave me that signal. All right, we also do logistics tracking for the precast components. I will share this with you separately. If you guys are interested, just hit me up. Last slide, I promise. Yeah, the thing is that we can't do this alone, right? We need partners. So we are looking for technology partners to partner with us because we are big on deep data integration. We want to work with you to see how we could collaborate, how we could consume each other's data to provide a comprehensive insight to what the project site needs. We would like to collaborate with builders, specialist builders, and of course, not forgetting key government agencies, which is very important to all of us. And of course, there are new developments ongoing. I can't disclose that, but just to give some snippets, it will involve heavily on data, AI, and integration. So watch out this space. So that's the end of my presentation.